This is live?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Jim and Mike here. For those of we're in Creston, British Columbia, in the Ramada breakfast room. And why are we here? Not because we're guests. No, we're staying in the park. We're staying in the RV park adjacent to the Ramada. And about 10 minutes ago, a huge thunderstorm started to blow in. So we thought instead of being outside in the thunder and lightning, we might come over here where it's dry.
There's people at the Ramada here in Creston.
So Mike set it up. The people here at the Ramada in Creston said, absolutely, come on in, go into this quiet corner. So if you're ever in Creston and you need a place to stay, I'm going to suggest the Ramada Inn.
Beats the parking lot out there, it's wet.
It does beat the parking lot. It is a little bit wet. And so this morning, when we announced this Facebook Live, we said, hey, if you have any questions, send them to Mike's email, mike@spinningwheelstour.ca. I've got a list of all the questions here that were submitted, and I'll go over them. Okay, so that's done. And so we're going to go, we're going to do what we normally do. We just keep pedaling, right? It's great. So this week, Mike, what do you think? What do you think your one favorite thing of this week?
One constantly annoying thing was my drone flying.
Oh, the drone flying. Yes, my friend. So give a little story about that, because there is one.
Well, apparently I can't fly a drone, but I'm working on it.
That is true. And so
it was rescued twice this week. Once took two men in the
boom truck.
Boom truck.
Yeah, a boom truck. Yeah.
And we had to drive 100 kilometers back to pick it up because we couldn't pick it up before we left. And then just yesterday, Jim scaled a mountain for me to get it out the base of a tree where I hit, trying to set up a nice shot.
And so from my perspective, we were almost to Creston, and Mike and Darlene had pulled over in Wanda, and they were there, and I thought, hey, isn't this nice? They're here to give us some water or to cheer us on or do whatever it is. But no, it was hey, Jim or Steve, can you climb up that rock face? And I flew the drone into the base of that tree, and now it's falling down. So I happened to scamper up and got lucky and found the drone. And, held it in my hand, out in front of me, and Mike took over from there. He took it off and did a beautiful job of bringing it over, retrieving it. So I'm going to chalk that one up to some severe wind shear and not anything about piloting skills.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
It was,
okay.
Yeah.
One other highlight
Yeah.
was a test to our support group skills and what we want to do with this team and help them along or hinder them, I guess, if we have the choice. But yesterday's trip also, we were driving along and saw a family of bears, a mother and 3 cubs. I'll post a picture of that later.
Black bears, not grizzly bears.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah.
But they were out the side of the road. And so I was faced with the conundrum. Do I call back and tell the guys? Or do I just hope for a good story, however it ends?
With cameras rolling. I'm assuming,
yes.
Yeah, just assuming so, yeah.
So it was a tough thing. I think Darlene leaned more towards, forget about it, let's keep driving. But I said, no, we can't do that. And so I called back to Steve and told him about it. And he was eager to send Jim ahead to see if they were still there. At the same time, Jim was willing to let Steve go.
We were both willing to, make sure that the other person was in the lead. I don't know whether we've pedaled a kilometer slower in the time we've been in BC, and that includes going up mountains. I think we were all just no, Steve, go ahead, it's fine. Yeah, you I'll draft in behind you.
I don't see anything.
That's right. Go right ahead. I don't, and that was an interesting moment, and we appreciate that you decided to phone back, and we'll have to see about Darlene.
Well, it's a long trip, and I wouldn't have to deal with Krista, to be honest. If we had to call up and say, well, Steve let him ride ahead, but anyways.
And it named by a bear. Yeah, that probably wouldn't fly over so well. So who knows what would have happened to the donations? So potentially if you we braved bears to continue on our our cross Canada journey. So if that sparks a donation, well, you know what? Let's spark a donation. We can do that. A donation is part of one story that I would like to talk about. Plans change all the time on the Spinning Wheels tour. That's just the nature of how we do it.
And Parkinson's.
And Parkinson's, right? And so we went to a place called Nelson, BC. And I've got a couple stories about this, but what I want to talk about is our talk with Catherine. So we were in Nelson, and we were supposed to stay there for supper and have showers, and we were really looking forward to it. The plans changed, so we decided we were going to have to go past Nelson that day, and so we were going to meet the people who were giving us from the sounds of it, an awesome barbecue. But they decided, because we couldn't stay, they would bring us some chicken soup. So we were in the Walmart parking lot, which is right on the water, and we were just talking, and of course the Mini Winnie, right, the RV we call Wanda, has decals on it, Passion for Parkinson's, Spinning Wheels Tour. It has Parkinson's on it. And this woman named... And in it, that's right. And this woman named Catherine, who we could see off to the side, was looking at us. And she came over, and she just mentioned the word Parkinson's. So we started talking. And it wasn't until after that I saw that she was clasping, about that thick of a wad of paper from the British Columbia, from the Parkinson's Society of British Columbia. She had just been diagnosed last week and was just coming out of the pharmacy with her first prescriptions of Parkinson's medication, and she had no idea what to do. Really, I mean, she was taking her meds, or she was about to start taking her meds, but we were able to just talk with her for 10 minutes and answer questions that she had, and gave her advice as best we could. And I just can't help but think that, wow, what timing, what right place at the right time, not only for us, but for her.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's not something you want to say, hey, we're here, I'll bow down for it. But to be there and to be able to have a nice chat and give her some advice as to where to look for help and try to seek support.
Yeah, and it really was that. It was, I just wonder what would have happened had that been me while I was walking out of my first neurologist appointment, to walk into 3 individuals who were experienced with the Parkinson's, and so I could ask questions, and she probably has more questions now than she did. But you know what, the feeling of everything's going to be okay. Yeah.
She was talking to people, the 3 of us, almost 10 years each for diagnosis, to have that ability to speak to them, and I think it brought some comfort.
I think it did too. So you notice I'm chuckling just a little bit because Steve has showed up. And remember when I said that it was raining outside? He has braved the rain to make sure that he is here. And I'm not going to make fun of him for his soaked attire. I'm going to let everyone watching make fun of him for his soaked attire. So we're going to give you a second, Steve. We just started. Mike could have talked about the Bears already, and I was just talking about Catherine. And so I know that I'm not going to move forward off of that in case you would like to add anything about our conversation with Catherine.
No.
Okay. So it just, like I was saying, what I don't know whether I believe in fate or not, but I'm just glad that I could play a part in helping somebody with Parkinson's at that point. And it was like, and I was just saying to Mike and everybody watching, had that been me, I just wonder, how far down the road we set her in terms of confidence and positivity, and knowing that things were going to be okay. And I'm just, I wish we would have met us or I would have met us.
I wouldn't have come over towards you.
No, that's true. I would have seen you walk the other way, and I've seen Ian walk the other way too. But yeah, that's good. And so, Steve just got back from downtown Creston Aquatic Center, right?
Nearly.
Near the Aquatic Center. Okay,
Well, you got
The aquatic center came to me.
that's true. That is true. So, in terms of your highlights for the week, what is one thing that stands out?
You have to come back to me.
You know what? I can. Yeah, absolutely.
I just add one more thing to the Catherine story, which is that that there's online and in discussions and in conferences and stuff like that, there's this notion that you should be positive and it's I heard it myself, and it's a little bit difficult to absorb somebody else's dictate that you should just be positive. But when you see a collection of people who are down the road and have held it together, which I think we are.
As best we can.
As best we can. Okay, I'll give him that.
Yeah.
It makes it a little easier on the mind to say, hey, for me down the road, what's it going to look like? Well,
Yeah.
Life can go on.
Yeah, and that is true. I remember the first time I was in a room with multiple people with Parkinson's. So I was diagnosed in the fall, and the Parkinson's support group in Ottawa, the first meeting we could go to was their Christmas party. And so there were a lot of people with Parkinson's in there, and they were all so much further advanced than I was. And I walked out of that party going, holy crap, this is not going to be good at all. And it took me a little while to get over that, to realize that it was going to be okay. But I just think of how different it might have been had my first encounter been with the two of you. Anyway, at least I would probably have been no help at all. But because I can say things like, I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV. And that's about the extent of what I can do. Anyway, the one thing I wanted to say about that was the donation. Because as we were talking to Catherine, someone drove by, rolled down their window, and gave us a donation. And then Catherine later said, oh yeah, I know her, she's a nurse. And it was like, thank you very much for what you're doing. You guys are so great. Thank you again. Keep going. Good luck. And I just was almost overwhelmed that someone would just roll down their window and toss some money our way. And so
We know that's not the first time it's happened on this trip.
No.
Generous people approach us at campsites or in parking lots and donate to the effort of what we're trying to do, and it's very much appreciated, and it touches your heart.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
I'd add that Catherine is not just a story; she's a person, and Catherine, you may catch this conversation. If you do, please connect with us. We'd really like to come full circle with this.
Absolutely, yeah. We would like to keep track of you, just like hopefully you're going to want to keep track of us. So there's Catherine, there's Nelson, for me anyway. We might come back to it a little bit later. One thing that I would like to, applaud is that both Steve and I are on Strava. And so we're recording our rides every single day. And for those of you familiar, on Strava, there are little segments that anyone else who's on Strava, you get to compare your time and see, who's done it the quickest or, the fastest or whatever it is. This guy right here, Steve Eisman, we rolled up a 30 to 35 kilometer climb, and there's a segment on there that is recorded, and it is almost the entire time, and it ends on the Paulson Bridge. And Steve, so far this calendar year, is the fastest person up that climb. All right, and I'm number 5, which is not bad, but he beat me by half an hour. All right, he not just for that, add in the Parkinson's, adding that we've been going along for, you know, a little while. We've gone over 1,000 kilometers, almost, and a little over 12,000 meters climbed. And he's able to roll off the fastest time up that segment this year. And so, wow. No.
It's impressive.
He is impressive, right?
Because I did it and I was tired in the Winnebago.
It was a tiring climb. I'm not gonna lie to you about that. But one of the other things that happened, it was a little bit funny this week, and that was our ride to Christina Lake. And Mike joined us for this. Mike joined us a couple times this week, and to be honest with you, kicked our butts on the bike both times. The ride to Christina Lake.
You generous guys.
The ride to Christina Lake, Mike rode the first 40 kilometers with us. He was the first one there, and we were trying to catch him, and we couldn't. But that was, you know, I fell behind a little bit, and I'm going to blame that on flat tire number one, where it wasn't raining. And we had that's right, we had a radio interview with a station in London scheduled later in the day, and we were going to be okay. Except that I got flat tire number two when it was raining, and I was like, okay, that's inconvenient. I can understand that. Like 15 minutes more, flat tire number three, and it's raining out, and I'm behind on my meds, and I can actually see my breath because it's that chilly, and I'm trying to get the tire on, and both hands are shaking, only one because of Parkinson's. And that, so then we, you know, we're supposed to go on at 1:40 our time, so 4:40 in the afternoon. It's 1:25. Steve and I know we're not going to make it to where it is we need to be. So what we do is we're just going to pull over, and it's raining out, and I'm a little bit frustrated because of the flat tire. So we pull and we walk down this makeshift road to get away from the traffic noise. And we're underneath some trees, huddled up, and we're about ready to say, okay, here we go. We're good for the phone call. We turn on the phones, no cell reception, nothing. And then it was like, what do we do now? And so, you know, we realized that we could ride 30 kilometers in 20 minutes. Or potentially miss the radio interview. And when we missed the radio interview, but we emailed, we said we were sorry, we got on the next day. And we had a ton of time to get the Castle done, like 40 minutes to spare. And then I got another flat tire that I said, that makes 4 in 2 days. And I was very unhappy about the whole thing.
So if there's any inner tube sponsors out there, you can really use the help.
I could use the help on that. But Mike and Darlene came by in Wanda, and I got myself all fixed up, and everything was fine. Made it down to the interview. I didn't think I was going to make it, so I phoned ahead or texted ahead. Mike and Steve had it covered, no problem. I got there with 1 minute to spare to get on the air so that we could talk about the Spinning Wheels Tour and Parkinson's. So I was quite happy about that.
You know, with that first day, I wasn't there to see the first flat. I was there for the second, and I could see you were a little agitated. You took off your wheel, pried off the tire. With the third flat, you took off your tire, you took off your wheel, and I heard a bump as it hit the ground.
It was an interesting time to get, you know, 3 flat tires in one ride.
Was it flat, the rain, or the side of the highway, which was the worst?
Oh, you know what? The side of the highway was okay. The rain was the real issue on that one because I was getting cold. Okay, so now let's say you've had a minute. What is a thing about this week that you're thinking about?
Walking home here. The mountains that we're looking at are growing, and it's not just the ones that are immediately in front of us are growing. There's mountains now peaking over mountains, and I just saw a scene. Watch for the blog, you'll see pictures of it. But this amazing storm is coming in through the mountains. and there's lightning crackling in the middle of it. It looked biblical. You'll see the picture.
Old Testament.
RV, and we were concerned about the two people out there. Not concerned enough that we're packing up the RV to go get them.
But concerned nonetheless.
Yes.
Oh yeah, there was definitely.
In fact, my wife still hasn't returned. When should I get concerned?
After this one is done.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we'll get concerned. Yeah, definitely.
Please ask questions of us.
Yeah. If you have some,
Things you're interested in.
that's true. For next one, so we're planning on doing these ones every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, and so that's 4 p.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Mountain. I should know the maritime stuff, but I don't at the moment where it actually.
We don't even know when Friday is half the time.
You know what? There's some truth to that.
When you wake up in a new place at the same bed every day, it's discombobulating.
It is a little bit. Sometimes we have to remind ourselves what the days are.
Speaking of what the days are, there's a date that we want to advise you of. I think it's Sunday morning at 8:30.
Oh, right.
That is correct.
On CBC
At 8:35
Fresh Air.
Eastern.
That's right. So CBC Radio 1, the program is called Fresh Air. They're going to phone us about 8:30 when your local news is on, somewhere between 8:35 and 8:40 Toronto time, Eastern time. We are going to be on there. So
As long as we're parked in a place that has cell reception at 5:30, we'll be on.
that is true. And so we should be in Cranbrook at that time, and then after that we're on to Fernie. Next week's YouTube Live is going to be from Calgary. We're going to be out of British Columbia.
That's a shame because it's beautiful here.
It really
Still
is.
looking forward to the next few provinces too.
Yep. And so I think we're going to hit the next YouTube Live in Alberta. The next one after that will be in Saskatchewan. The next one after that will be in Manitoba, and then we'll be in Ontario. And
Spinning your way.
I know we're getting there, and we've been told, and I know this is reaching into the future, but we've been told that the celebration in St. John's, Newfoundland, when we get off the ferry, is going to be something like we have never seen before, and we've seen some stuff. Yeah, and so for that to happen, I'm really looking forward to that. So we've been working on routes all day today because it was a rest day, so that we are trying to pin down exactly when we're scheduled to be in St. John's. It's going to be a big party apparently, so we're inviting everybody there. Yeah, to
bring your own cod.
That's right, because it'll shorten the line when it comes to.
And bring your helmets too in case I'm flying drones.
That's never a bad thing because Mike will be flying a drone there, and
If I still have one.
That's right, and you just never know. I'm so we're almost out of. You know what? The mountains are beautiful and they're hard to go up, and I will miss them when they're gone. But I'm actually looking forward to the next set of landscape that we get to try. We're going to bring out the recumbent bikes when things get a little flatter, so I'm excited about that, to give that a try and to see how much further we can go during a day. Steve has gotten over 160. Like a 165 ride on a road bike so far this year. I've gotten 130 on a road bike. The plan is to get to 150 consistently, and we're thinking that the recumbents will do that. And Mike might stop at 149. But
I've never done a 150.
I've
almost died on the 2 100s I've ever done. I'll see what I can do one day.
To be honest, I have never done a 150. 130 is the most I've ever ridden in
You
one
guys
time.
know I have Parkinson's?
Yeah, I've heard the rumor, but you handle it well, my friend. Anything to wrap
check
up?
out our new music video. It'll be out shortly on our YouTube channel that you're here watching, and look forward to seeing you next Friday.
That's right. Steve and I show off our dancing moves on the music video, so it's worth that even just to laugh.
Watching the blog, and your comments are very welcome. So please keep commenting.
Yeah.
Keep sending in money.
And today, right? Spinning Wheels Tour. Right, head there. The links are all there to get to YouTube, to get to Facebook, to get to Instagram, to see all of the stuff. To donate if you're able to.
You'll learn everything about Parkinson's. Not much useful, but how we deal with it.
How we deal with it. That's right. So through BC, maybe further. We're heading to Alberta. We're coming. You know what? And I know we were talking about the celebration when we get to St. John's, but
16th we're in Alberta celebrating. We'll be in Kindersley on the 19th, I believe.
yeah, and
Parties.
yeah, we're really looking forward to getting to Kindersley, Saskatchewan, because we've been talking to a lot of people there actually, and they're barbecue, silent auction.
I believe they're naming a street after me.
I think they are too, and they should.
And I'm just doing the math now to see if my family might already be in Fernie or if they're still on their way. Either way, we'll see you shortly.
Because you have to understand. Okay, Kath O'Brien, thank you very much. We will take care of that, and I appreciate that you're watching. Everybody else, appreciate that you're watching as well. And spinningwheelstour.ca. Thank you.
Take care.